So I wanted to jump on because I had a bit of a epiphany today. It's really strange. You know how you like you're thinking one thing, and then usually it's a throwaway comment that just suddenly makes you sit back and go, oh yeah. So the point of the after and my 6-week program, which I talk about all the time because I live and breathe it, and it's what lights me up and what makes me jump out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can do some stuff on it before the kids wake up. Sorry. And yeah, so it's about the 6-week program is Deactivate Triggers, Activate Love. And the point of it is that it is to take people, quite often for me it's mums and dads, or mums and dads at the same time, couples, and it's because right now in the US and the UK and quite a lot of Europe, people are in lockdown, so they're not having childcare, but it is appropriate for anybody who has children, grannies and grandmas who are feeling triggered. So what I mean by that is your child or children or the people that you look after, so it could be in a school or home setting, they are displaying some behaviours, so they're acting out on their natural place of hurt at things like he took my toy, blah, 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 that kind of thing, or them feeling not heard because maybe we're a bit at a loss with how to deal with a certain situation. And so the way that we respond to them is causing them to, I guess, act out because they're not being heard. So that's going on. And the triggering is where their behaviour is triggering our deep wounds, our wounds from when we were children. I talk really regularly about how, because it's really an obvious and a clear one, as it's obvious, I didn't know about it for years, but it's, so as the baby of 5 children, really lucky, I was so lucky, but that I often felt as a child and a teenager, and even as a young person and a young adult, that I wasn't listened to isn't quite the right word, but there wasn't space for my voice because there were 4 other people and I was the youngest one. And actually I was incredibly lucky, this is what I told myself, and it's true, that I was a lot freer of the constraints that say the older children have, as basically everyone was so busy that I was like, I'm going to go and study Arabic, I'm going to go live in the desert. And I did, and it was awesome. Whether the maybe 1 of 5 would be able to do that, I don't know. So it has its benefits. But what I found when I then became a parent in my own right, that when my children aren't listening to me, and sometimes they don't listen to me because they're children and they're busy, and we home educate, which a lot of people know, and they don't feel like doing something one day, and in our house and the way we structure it, if you don't feel like doing writing a certain day, then actually we say, okay, that's fine, what do you want to do instead? And well, that's one of our ways of making them feel heard. But when I'm say trying to get them out the house to get somewhere on time and they're just not listening, it used to be, I mean it still is a bit of a trigger for me, but it used to absolutely drive me crackers. Like I could not cope with it. And it was only when I realised that what it was triggering in me, their behaviour, was triggering my listen to me. I always talk about it like in Harry Potter, the one where everyone's talking over Harry, and eventually Harry just goes, look at me, at Dumbledore. That's really how I felt. It was quite upsetting, and I wasn't in control at that point of my response. And when I realised that is my deep wound of trigger, with love, there's nothing but love for my family, and yet I still have this wound just by the circumstance of being the 5th baby. And now I have healed that wound. Well, let's say we're always self-healing. It's an ongoing process. You can never go cha-ching, done. And if you feel that you've done that, you're probably missing something. Yeah, so that now that is healed, I am able to show up for my children with much more patience and understanding, and put in strategies, and start getting ready earlier. I speak to them in a completely different way, and it's incredible. It's much better. So this is what the point is. On everybody has their own different triggers, and some are deeper, and some are I've given you a fairly surface one, and we all have varying wounds from different ages, from our blueprint that is set down of how we behave. Our subconscious is kind of locked in around the age of 7. And so every time we come across that situation, like people not listening to you, I would either shut down or I would shout, depending on how safe I felt in the situation. And now that is eliminated, so I can show up a lot better for my family and myself, and in all relationships. So here was me, and I've basically, for 2 months now, and I've been working with people who are I refer to it often as well as the hair on fire moment. And it is the point where a lot of people, when they come to me because they've had a hair on fire. They pick up the phone and text me, or if it's somebody who I know a bit better, they ring me or Zoom or whatever, and they go, I lost my shit at my kids, and I didn't recognise myself, and I don't like it. Can we talk? And this is the hair on fire moment. Or the sort of, the other end of that, another expression of that is, I am making myself sick by holding it in, because I am not managing lockdown, career, having a child with severe needs. I'm not managing my own personal issues, or we've been made redundant and I'm struggling to cope with that, and I have completely lost it at the kids, or I am basically internalizing all of this rage. And there's been quite a lot of research into it. It is rage. It's called mom rage, because it's an American term. It's obviously a global thing, where we basically we hold on to these things, and it's also applicable to dads and grannies, anybody, where when you feel it bubbling, and then you just either just let it out and explode, and then people go on these tirades, or rants, or they just shout or scream or throw something, or something kind of maladaptive and damaging, or they hold it all in and damage themselves by holding it in. And the point of all my work is the message that it doesn't have to be like that. Neither of those things have to happen. There is the other option, and it is going deeper, looking at yourself with love and kindness, and looking at your history and how you grew up, and your stories that are passed to you, consciously or unconsciously, by your own loved ones, and realising with love and respect, where appropriate, 'cause it's not always, but realising, I don't have to hold on to this story. This was appropriate for my mum in 1976. This was appropriate for my dad in the 1980s. I understand where he came to that idea, but actually I don't need to be a slave to that anymore, because it's not working for me, and it isn't my story. I don't really believe that. And then we let it go, and then we move forward, and it's incredible. So these are the people who I mostly work with. And then I had this incredible conversation with somebody, yesterday, and it continued on to today, about how she basically said, I'm really interested in what you do, but, and I do have moments where I feel, I reflect on a situation and think, actually, I don't think I was my best self there. But actually, I kind of feel okay in my parenting relationship. I kind of feel okay at work, and I feel like I'm on an even keel. And I know that I have quite a lot of, should we call it emotional baggage from my childhood. I'm aware, I've always been aware that I have been fighting with myself, and this is a conscious, fighting against the subconscious, which honestly is laudable, but you can't modify your subconscious beliefs with conscious thought. They're two different pathways. And what I do is help with changing the subconscious stories and allowing them to be released in the most powerful techniques ever. And yeah, so this person was saying, look, I know that I've been fighting this. I was fighting it when I became a professional in the career that I'm in. I was fighting it when I moved out on my own. I was fighting it when I got married in different ways. And now I'm fighting it because I feel, parenting, although I feel like I'm doing quite a good job and I'm happy and I love my children and I feel like I'm showing up okay. But I just feel really aware that my conscious thoughts and mind is battling on an almost daily basis with my subconscious programming. And I just wondered if you could help. And I sat back and I was like, yeah, that is what I do. But I've been focusing on all of these, the hair on fire moments because, we're in lockdown or we're in restricted movement. We're all, facing this nameless, faceless, scary thing. And there are a lot of hair on fire moments. And I can do and am doing some great work to support people to avoid those and to heal from them and to move on for a wonderful future in their family and within themselves. But also there is a whole load of people out there, and I'll be interested if you might want to do it publicly or you might want to do it privately, if you're feeling like, yeah, that's me, like I'm doing okay, I'm ticking on okay, but I always feel like, and I've always felt like my conscious thoughts are battling with my subconscious programming, and that I'm having to consciously override at every decision, every step, every behaviour. I'm constantly making a choice to go, oh, actually, okay, that is my story. Thank you. I'm not going to go with that. If that is you, then actually the Deactivate Triggers program is for you. It's made for you, but by complete accident, because you deserve support and you deserve to not have to waste your time and energy and love and your life force on fighting yourself all the time, because you don't have to. There are skills and strategies and ways where you can get around this. And because of my background and my history and my learning and my research and my passion, which I'm pretty sure is coming across because I love this work, 6 weeks, you can go from constantly battling yourself to being free of these subconscious triggers. That's what they are, this programming that you got through no fault of your own, because we all have it. This is one of the just facts of the human brain, that we end up being kind of hardwired for how to behave in certain situations from our early childhood. And that's not that useful when you're 36 or 42 or 25 or not 7. It's just not. And you don't have to be tied down by it. And credit to you if you are battling it consciously and constantly. You don't have to. So I just wanted to speak to those people and just say, it doesn't have to be a crisis to seek help, because actually if something is affecting your well-being on a pretty consistent basis, it might not be the, oh my God, I just blew up at my kids and I feel terrible. It might not be the, I don't know how to move forward right now, I am freaking out. It might be a constant battle that you've been having with yourself for many, many years. And like I said, credit to you if you have been doing that, but you don't have to. And 6 weeks isn't very long of an investment of your time to actually change that. It's not. So yeah, I'd be really interested if this spoke to you and you realise, actually, yeah, this kind of thing does work for me and my setup. I'd be really interested if you wanted to put it in the comments, or if you could always private message me, because I tend not to tag people, because parenting is really personal, and our psychological stories is personal and private. And if you want to share it, share it. And if you don't, obviously you don't have to. Don't do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Yeah, that's it really. So I wanted to just get the message across. Now that I've had my epiphany, you don't have to suffer. And there are a lot of people who are suffering low level for many, many years, and you don't have to. And this kind of work, the deactivating triggers, the retraining your subconscious mind, and you can do it. It is possible. Hundreds of thousands, millions of people have done it before you. You're not alone. Yeah, it doesn't have to get to crisis point. You deserve support. It's a really good story, and it's really great news that you don't have to live like this. You don't have to consciously battle, and there is support. 6 weeks, massive change within 6 weeks. It's available. Okay, have a really, really lovely day. Thank you for listening. Bye.